Howdy everyone, Niev here with the Rainbow Cauldron, and this is your weekly general reading for November 5th through the 11th, 2017. And it is a new month, as you can see, so I have two new sets of cards here. The Gita deck for our Oracle cards this month, and the Wild Unknown Tarot for our Tarot deck this month. And the background, I picked out a pretty purple velour, so I hope you like that. Alright, so what I do with these weekly general readings is I draw one card from an Oracle deck, and that will be the general theme throughout the week. Something to think about, the overall theme of the week. And then I will draw three cards from our tarot deck for the month, and they will represent the general flow of energy during the week. Alright, so let's get started. I really hope you guys had a great Halloween or Samhain, whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate. Alright, so these are an interesting deck, the Gita deck. There is no different, like all the backs of these cards are actually the, what the cards represent. So, because these are different passages from the Bhagavad Gita. There's no actual backing to these, so I'm going to put in a clip of how I shuffle them, and I kind of just close my eyes and pick a random card. I closed my eyes, and this is the card I pulled, and I just set it here on top. And this is the Lamp of Knowledge. So let's see what the back of the card says on this. So this is from chapter 10, verse 10 through 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. And it says, "To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the intelligence by which they can attain me. Out of compassion for them dwelling in their hearts, I destroy the darkness of ignorance with the lamp of knowledge." Okay. So obviously these are very religious, spiritual passages. They're from a holy book. So basically, if we separate the spirituality from it, we're talking about trusting in a guide, trusting in someone else to find truth, to find knowledge, trusting an idea or someone as the lamp of knowledge for you. And of course, this can very much be connected to spirituality, as these are spiritual cards. So, trusting in your higher power, trusting in your spiritual leaders. That's a lot of what I get from this, is having a lot of trust in something or someone else to bring in the truth, or to get clarity on a situation. All right, so let's move on to the tarot cards. So the first card we have is the Daughter of Pentacles, and this is a very cute card. The Five of Wands. Okay, some conflict here. And finally the Six of Swords. Okay, I thought these were the wands at first, but no, it's swords. The Six of Swords. Okay, so all right, so with the first one we were looking at the general theme, which was getting guidance from an outside source, like a leader or a spiritual leader, or a mentor, a guide, your higher power, something like that. And here we're seeing this person, and I notice here that we've got a double rainbow here, so these two cards are very much connected. Here we're looking at listening to a voice of reason, a higher voice of reason, whereas here we're seeing a young voice, a fresh perspective. It's not necessarily a young person, it could be just a fresh perspective, but young advice, new advice. And since the Pentacles are a suit of practicalities, dependableness, this is a dependable, practical voice, if new. And you're going to be initially very resistant to it. There's going to be some conflict, and that's the thing with truths. A lot of times truth is hard to chew sometimes. And so there's going to be some stubbornness, some blocking of it, not wanting to deal with it. And the 6 of Swords is a card of like really moving away from that conflict and getting away from it. But my perspective here is that to get away from this conflict, we really have to be open-minded to what this new advice is and this new voice. It may not be a wise person, that's giving this advice, and maybe that's why we're initially resistant to it, because we don't want to listen to something that's seems like it's not coming from a place of experience. But I think with this reading, we really need to be open-minded with some new advice that we might initially be resistant to, and we might initially have conflict with, a difference of opinion. But this card really cautions us to not be so stubborn. So once we can finally open our minds and really consider this person's perspective, that's when we can move away from the conflict. We can gain perspective. Change is difficult, and that's a lot of what this card represents. I mean, the 6 of Swords is a card, it feels very difficult. It's a difficult feeling, because we're seeing this bright rainbow and this bright white sky above, but what we're experiencing right now is not so easy. It's difficult to swallow some truths sometimes, but that's what this card, we have to move past this conflict and really consider the truths that others are speaking, and that will bring us to the truth, to knowledge, and something. Once we find out that truth, we can start to move past it and leave behind that which doesn't help you move forward. And so that looks like the basic reading for this week. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you can be a bit open-minded, not so stubborn, and reflect on truths that may not always be what we want to hear, but it's what we need to hear to move forward. All right, I hope you guys had a great Samhain, and I hope we have a wonderful month of this November. I'll see you next week. Blessed be. Bye.